welcome to our yoga practice today. My name is Cindy Fifield and I'm here to lead us through a Yin Yoga practice. Yin Yoga is a slower, passive practice, and we not only dig deep into the muscles, but we go beyond that. We try and dig deep into the interconnected tissues, the fascia, the ligaments, and into the joints. So we hold the poses for anywhere between 45 seconds to maybe 2 minutes. Because we're here on time for 30 minutes, we're going to condense those a little bit shorter and get into a couple more poses. So welcome onto your mat space. You can sit in any comfortable seated position if you're familiar with your Sukhasana, your pose of ease, or just a simple crisscross position. Just start to bring your hands down onto your knees. You can be palms down or palms up towards the sky. And when you're ready, just start to slowly close the eyes. Begin to tune in to your practice here in the present moment. Begin to release tension away from the forehead, unfurrowing your eyebrows, releasing any tension in the corners of your eyes and your lips. Maybe just gently roll the shoulders up to the ears and allow the shoulders to fall down. Feel your shoulder blades, collarbones broad and wide. Feel the heart stack over the hips and the chin fall parallel to the floor. Taking a moment here as we ground into our practice, a moment to ourselves, a moment of clarity and peace. As we move through our practice, Yin Yoga has 3 core principles. Find your edge, hold the pose, and be still. As we find our edge, trying not to go past that point where we really start to feel super intense in our stretching. You want to go to that point where you can still fully inhale and exhale without any worries or feeling that you're going too far. So finding your edge. The second is holding the pose. So once you start to get comfortable and relax, you just allow gravity to take you and you just hold there. And the third is to be still. Once you find your edge, once you start to breathe and know that this is a comfortable space for you, then we lie still. We remain still. Nice and slow with our breathing. And we allow our breath to just let us guide into any natural movements here. So remembering those values as we move. If you feel that when you practice, your thoughts start to wander off, maybe start to lose focus of your breath, just start to come back to my breath. Come back to my voice, come back to your breath. And allow yourself to reacquaint yourself in the present moment. Go ahead and start to open the eyes, allow the light to come in, and we'll take our feet into a butterfly pose. In your butterfly pose, you bring your hands onto the ankles or onto the edges of the feet. We'll first start with our shoulders rolled back and our hearts lifting forward. Feel the crown of the head lift and rise, the spine lifting long and tall. And on the exhale, you're going to bow forward, bend into your elbows. You're going to allow the heart and the chest to melt forward. So as we follow these core principles I mentioned earlier, finding your edge. So think of on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being extremely challenging, 0, 1 being no challenge at all. Try and find somewhere between a 5 and a 6. So something that is still comfortable. And if you're advanced in your practice, you know where that is. If you're beginning, just allow yourself to fall forward. Maybe it looks more up here. Maybe you look further down. And it doesn't matter how I look. It just matters how it feels in your body, in your space. Once you've found that 5 to 6 range, draw your chin into your chest and allow your head to hang heavy and melt forward. Remembering to allow gravity to take you as we work into our inner thighs here, into our hips. And as we breathe into this slow, passive stretching. Remember, we're not bouncing or moving around. You might, as soon as you start to get into the pose, but once you're there, find that space of peace. You can start to close your eyes, connect with your body as we hold this pose here for a few more breaths. Try and be still. As we breathe, just taking nice full belly breaths in. Inhaling to feel the belly expand, the ribs radiate in all directions. You can kind of feel your upper back lift up towards the sky gently. As we exhale, just allowing the heart to fall inward, the ribs to draw in, and navel towards the spine. You notice that once you're in the pose for even past a few breaths, you start to notice a little movement, maybe falling forward. Start to notice some tight spaces release, open and relax. Allow yourself to give into those spaces. Again, being mindful that you're not going past your edge. Let's take one more breath here. Nice deep inhale in. And a nice smooth exhale out. Really nice and slow. You can start to open the eyes. Use your arms to lengthen them out and to press you back up to a nice tall seated position. Good. Let's go ahead and extend your left leg out, and you're going to bring your right foot inside your inner thigh. And once more, maybe if you want to flex the toes towards your face, if that doesn't feel like it's stretching too much in the back of the legs, just take a nice inhale, roll the shoulders back, and just gently start to turn your torso to face towards the leg. Now you don't want to torque yourself, but just really nice and gentle. It's okay if you don't go right over the leg, but just something nice and soft to where it feels like you're able to fall forward. Bring your hands down in front of you, just on the side of the leg so that it's framing it. And nice inhale, long and tall. When you're ready, as you exhale, just start to melt forward here. I like to bring my hands down by my side of the leg rather than on top of it, so I don't feel like I'm using it to put pressure. Just allowing my hands to be by my sides, my shoulders just nicely roll forward. And from here, if you feel you need to adjust in your sit bones anyway before you find that stillness, that moment of peace, just allowing yourself to fall forward here. Now we are using, for the most part, no props. However, to feel a little bit more comfortable in these poses, if you would like to grab any blocks or pillows, you're more than welcome to place them a little higher, maybe on your forearms, especially if you feel like you're finding yourself staying tall. Just allowing yourself to fall into a position that feels comfortable, and if you feel you'll need props for that, that's totally fine. And remembering that you can always close your eyes. Noticing that it should feel peaceful here. It shouldn't feel like you're doing a ton of work, like there's a goal that you need to reach, but rather just allowing yourself in this space, in this moment, to unwind. Maybe there's a lot of thoughts going on, and that's okay if there is. Yoga is not about allowing those thoughts to disappear. It's about allowing yourself to be present, to allow anything physically, emotionally, thoughtfully to arise to the surface. That's why yoga is such a healing practice for us, to come face to face with whatever we truly need to handle at the heart space, at the heart center. Be sure to relax all parts of the body, including the neck. Maybe noticing some of those tighter spaces are starting to give a little bit. yourself to just naturally, gradually fall in those spaces. Start to take one more inhale here. And a nice exhale, let it go. And slowly start to walk your hands back in so we can lift our hearts back right over the hips. And let's switch sides. Go ahead and take one foot in. You're more than welcome to face any way on your mat space. I'm just trying to make sure that I show all good angles for you guys. And when you're ready, same thing here. Start with your chest nice and lifted, heart over the hips. When you're ready, just slowly start to turn your torso to face towards the leg. Remember, not torquing it, just finding that nice natural flow of a twist. And when you're ready, just slowly start to melt over the top of the leg. Now, I like to keep my toes a little bit trying to stay up towards the sky. That just depends on how much of a stretch you're going to feel in the back of the legs here. So for me, this feels pretty natural, but if that feels a little too much, you can always just have your toes in any natural and relaxed position for you. And again, just hands down by your sides, by framing the top of that leg. And when you're ready, just taking that exhale to allow yourself to melt into it. As you lean forward, you may notice you need to shift in your sit bones a little bit. Go for it. And once you, for a moment, just start to find your space. And take your exhale, find yourself folding into the pose. And that third piece, that core value of staying still, can be so difficult sometimes. Especially we're in such a rapid environment where we always need to go somewhere, be something, do something. So being still can sometimes be a very challenging piece in Yin Yoga. But it's so needed for our bodies, to allow our mind and our bodies to reset, relax, come back into that parasympathetic state, allowing our nervous system to relax. And a smooth exhale out. Slowly, if you want to open your eyes again, press into the floor, the earth away from you, to lift you back into a comfortable seated position with the heart over the hips. We're going to come into a child's pose balasana. So just shifting on to hands and knees here. And when you're ready, sink the hips back and reach the arms out in front of you. Allowing your hips to fall towards the earth, your heart and your chest as well. Make this a little bit more relaxing. Drop the elbows and the forearms down onto the mat. You can even allow your forehead to touch the mat as well. If you feel like it's kind of too much tension, you're more than welcome to just bring a blanket or a towel. Use it as kind of a lift here on your forehead. We'll stay here for just a moment, just allowing yourself to feel how your body feels after a nice little stretch in the back of the legs. Reminding to stay still, to remain present. And just take another inhale in. And if you'd like a nice open mouth, deep breath, let it go. And we'll slowly lift the hips back up. Coming into neutral tabletop. From here, we're going to swing our left foot up to our left hand. And we're going to keep the hands on the mat space. Your left foot should be all the way over towards the left side of the mat. So you have a lot of space here. We're going to work pretty deep into the hips. So really being mindful of that scale, that 5 to 6 level between that edge, and making sure that you're still finding enough so that it still feels like a good stretch, but again, not going past that edge. If this feels too much, already just being on the hands and lifting with the left foot down, you're more than welcome to grab any pillows or blocks to keep you lifted into a taller position. We're in our lizard pose here. We'll be here for another few breaths. And I want you, before we start, just to roll the shoulder blades together. Feel the heart lift through. And as we exhale, finding a moment to hold into stillness here. Now you're more than welcome to stay on your hands. There's a couple different variations you can do. You're more than welcome to come down onto your forearms, maybe just walking your hands a little bit further out and away from you. Remembering to find your edge at 5 to 6 level. Once you find that, to be comfortable enough to hold the pose and to remain still. It's not as easy as it sounds. So once you find the one that feels best for you, you start to close your eyes. Allow yourself to maybe even start with a body scan to help you feel a little bit more grounded and present. Noticing everything from the crown of the head all the way to the back right toe onto the earth. Allow your chin maybe to hang into your chest, allowing the head to drop down. Yes, so a lot of tension here into the left hip, inner thigh, even into our right quad space. Remember, this practice is to help us dig deeper past the muscles into the fascia, literally into the tissues. The sense of stillness our body is not used to. Our body wants to move and fidget. So we're really trying to help our bodies go past their limits in a gentle, passive way. Stay here for one more inhale. And one more exhale. Let's slowly just start to take the left knee back down to the ground. We'll transition with the child's pose to sink back. Let's stay here for a moment. Just notice how one side feels a bit different than the other. Noticing that imbalance in the body. And knowing that with our yoga practice, we always trying to find that inner balance. And on your inhale, go ahead and lift the hips up off the ground, away from the heels, and let's switch legs. Go ahead and bring the right foot all the way up towards the right hand. If it doesn't get there in one motion, just bring the foot, pick it up, it's totally fine. Right foot's gonna come all the way to the right edge of the mat so that you have some space to move down. And we'll first start with our hands pressing against the earth, or again, if you're on some props, you're more than welcome to stay there. And inhale to peel the shoulder blades together, lift the crown of the head and the spine nice and tall towards the sky, gazing forward. And as you exhale, go ahead and start to melt, collapse forward. Again, you can keep the hands here. I'm gonna maybe adjust so I can move my hands a bit further out and away from me. And we hold the pose here. If you feel like you need to move that back leg a little bit to make sure that you're not right on the kneecap, you can do so. And just allowing again the chin into your chest to hang. Allow gravity to do the work for you. As you start to find stillness, if you notice that when you exhale, your body does start to give into those spaces that were once tight, and they start to open and release, and that feels like too much tension, still remain still, but you're more than welcome to still find that little movement to get you out of that, right out of that edge, right out of that challenging point. Be gentle, be kind with your bodies. This should just feel really nice, really peaceful. Check in with your breath, noticing if you're holding it or breathing hard and heavy. The breath should be really nice and smooth. Doing beautifully. Let's take one more inhale in. And maybe go ahead and open mouth, deep cleansing breath. Let all the air go. Nice and slow, lift the head, start to walk the hands back under the shoulders, and take the right leg, swing it back. Once you bring the right knee onto the ground, shifting the hips back, coming into your child's pose. And noticing much more of a difference here. Hopefully a bit more balance between both sides and the legs. Just giving yourself a moment to regroup. And take one more inhale here. Another open mouth exhale, let it go. Alright, slowly shift the hips up, back into your tabletop position. We're going to go ahead and come onto our backs now. So as we come onto our backs, once you come down, bringing the knees into your chest, and we're going to come into a figure four shape. So your figure four, we'll start with the right foot on top of the left quad. And you're going to press your right knee out, so getting that nice external rotation to this outer thigh as it presses away. Into this figure four shape, a couple options here. You can loop through and reach for the left hamstring. Okay? Remember, finding your edge, so not where it feels too much tension. You're going to feel it right along this right outer glute, this hip, the back of the right hamstring. So you feel a lot into this right corner hip here. Finding that edge, 5 to 6 range. Now, if you're pretty mobile and flexible and it feels like you're still in that 5 to 6 range, press the left heel towards the glute and then maybe reaching for the the left shin. Flex your right toes towards the right knee and hold here. I'm going to switch to come back down to my left hamstring versus my left shin. And sometimes we like to practice this one. This is our modified pigeon. We like to practice with the left foot up, but since we're being in a much more passive state, just allow that left heel to relax down. Again, reaching for the front left shin if that feels comfortable enough. Making sure that your shoulders are firmly planted on the ground, so we're not lifting with our head up. We are completely relaxed. No movement. Find your stillness. Feel your low back anchor into the earth. Feel the heart space press down into the mats. As your body feels heavy. Same thing here, allowing gravity to do the work for you. Close your eyes. Just find a nice soft gaze in your face as you unfurl the eyebrows, release any tension in the corners of the eyes and the lips. Nice, smooth, even breaths. One more inhale. One more exhale. Remain in your figure four shape with the legs. Go ahead and take your arms out as wide as the mat space. Plant the left foot down on the ground and just lift your hips up an inch or two and shift it over towards the right side. Now your legs are going to fall over towards the left. So your supine twist here. Have both your shoulders still anchored on the mat space. Your right arm can be out on the mat in line with your shoulder. And you can use your left hand as an anchor for this top leg, especially again, finding that edge where it doesn't feel like you're straining into the side of your right leg, your lower back here. Taking in a nice full inhale through your belly. So again, you can keep the eyes closed if you'd like. Staying it with each exhale, maybe finding your right shoulder to anchor a little more onto the earth. Allow gravity to take you, weigh you down. For me, I notice that once I allow myself to relax, especially if you've had some caffeine in you, your body still may want to twitch. Allow those twitches to come and go. It's your body not getting used to staying still. So it's totally fine if you feel some twitches or some sudden movements. Honoring where your body is in the present moment. Let's take one more inhale in. See if you can fill into your bellies. Feel the ribs expand out. And a nice slow exhale, let it go. Good. Slowly lift your legs back into center. Find your hips squared evenly back onto the mat space. And let's go ahead and switch out the legs. Taking into our figure four shape with the left side. So your left foot on top of your right quad. When you're ready, lift the right leg off the ground. For me, coming into the pose, I still kind of like to find my sway from side to side first to allow, just if I have any tension in the hips, just kind of help it release. And once you find your leg lifted, flex your left toes over towards the left knee and find any comfortable position with your hands, either to the right hamstring, or again, if you're flexible enough and that feels good, not going past that edge, right hand or your hands wrapped around your right shin. Remember, your shoulders are comfortably down on the mat. The neck is nice and long, crown of the head rests heavy on the mat space as well. If you feel you want like a little sliver of a towel or blanket to lay on, you're more than welcome to as well. And once you find that point, that moment, take a nice deep breath and allow yourself to be present. Notice if you start to tighten up in the elbows, you kind of start to lock them out. Just relax the shoulders down. Feel your hands just pressing lightly against the hamstring, not forcing the foot, or forcing the leg into your chest. Remaining still, calm with your breath. Take one more inhale here. Nice full belly breath in. And a nice exhale, let it go. Slowly release the hands just down by your sides. Plant the right foot down on the ground and just lift the hips up an inch or two so you can shift them over to the left side of the mat, but your legs are going to cross over the right side. Your right hand can be an anchor for this top leg. Keep the shoulders nice and firm on the mat, and your left hand can stay out by the side or maybe into a goalpost position, just allowing your left arm to rest easy by your side. And your gaze can remain up towards the sky or the ceiling, or you can shift your head to gaze over your left shoulder. Remember, allowing yourself to allowing gravity to take you down. Feel light. Yin practice is a great way to both start your day and end your day. It's also a nice reset in the middle of the day as well. So either time of the day that works best in your schedule, where you feel you just need to pause and reset. Watch this video, take some time to yourself. It's also really great to do after a series of workouts. If you're feeling sore, excellent practice to choose. Let's take one more inhale here and one more exhale out. slowly. When you're ready, just lift the legs back into center. Find your hips even onto the mat space. And we'll slowly, one more time, just bring your knees into your chest. So just find a nice little rock from side to side. And when you're ready, we'll come into our final resting pose, your Shavasana, dead man's pose, taking up as much space on the mat as you need to with your arms, with your legs. Allowing yourself to hang heavy here for a moment. As you lay here in your Shavasana, maybe closing the eyes if that feels a bit more comfortable for you. Or you can place a nice little eye pillow or just a towel to rest over the eyes gently. And to conclude our practice, let's take 2 deep inhales in. As you inhale, nice and slow, feel the belly rise, lift up towards the ceiling. Feel your heart space lift. Pause at the top of your inhale, hold. And as loud as you can, open mouth, exhale, let all the air release, let go. Feel your belly just fall down towards the mat. One more time, just like that. Take a nice, beautiful inhale in, allowing this breath, fresh air to come through. Feel your bodies. Pause and hold. And open mouth as loud as you can. Exhale, let that air flow. Let go. This beautiful practice of breath, the inhalation, the exhalation, just a beautiful reminder that every time we invite in the new, there's always a moment that needs to let go. That beautiful cycle of life. You're more than welcome to remain in your Shavasana as your home practice for as long as you'd like. So when you're ready, you're just going to slowly draw the knees into your chest. Find a comfortable position on your side. Bring your hands underneath your head to make a soft pillow in your fetal position. Pausing there for just a moment. Remembering that your yoga practice always goes with you off your mat, as it brings about this beautiful reset and rest and rebirth in mind, body, and spirit. When you're ready, extend your top leg to the top of your mats. Walk yourselves back up into any comfortable seated position of your choice. And meeting with our hands at heart center, our Anjali Mudra. Draw your chin into your chest. Nice bow to honor ourselves. Honor the world around us. Thank you all so much for tuning into this practice. Hopefully finding Yin is one that you start to incorporate in your daily lives. And as always, it is a true honor to be your guide. And the teacher, student, light in me will always honor the teacher, student, light in you. Namaste. Thank you all so much for having me and inviting me into your homes. Truly is an honor. I love teaching you guys so much. I wish you all a wonderful rest of your day. Tune back to this video anytime that you need to find a rest or restorative, relaxing practice.